Anybody seen the ad for this Nike Pegasus shoe that talks about lightest shoe, ultra fast technology, great technology, etc.? Anybody seen the ad for the specific shoe? Okay, good answer, because that was a trick question. There is no Nike ad for the shoe, because Nike doesn't sell us a shoe, they sell us an emotion. They don't market features to us, they market feelings to us. They inspire us through the feelings. And examples of that, as we have seen, they inspire us by showcasing Colin Kaepernick, inspire us to believe in something, even if it means sacrificing everything. They inspire us by showcasing Serena Williams and say that it's okay to dream. If they say your dreams are crazy, we can showcase how great dreams are. So again, it's the feeling. And what Nike has figured out, that the key to winning in business and society is you have to capture the heart to win the mind. So whether you're in B2B or B2C, it's really we're human first. It's B to H. We're all human first. And we connect with how we feel about something much earlier than what we think about it. Why storytelling is important is because when we share information that does not have stories attached to it, it turns out that we remember a lot less of it. Matthew Lund, one of the great storytellers from Pixar, says that when you share stats without a story, after 10 minutes, you only retain 5% of it. So hopefully you retain this data point that you will not remember data points if there is no story attached to it.
There are two important properties of the NFT, if I know how to click this right. One of which Pawan spoke about earlier today when he laid this framework of the 6 key trends in the overall world of Web3 crypto, where he spoke about authenticity, provenance, ownership. If I think about in the real world Mona Lisa, there is a real Mona Lisa, and there are many, many copies of the Mona Lisa. I want you to start thinking about all the industries that you work with and think about what that property can do if you have an immutable digital record that you can uniquely determine the authenticity just validated on the blockchain. So that's property one. Property two is these NFTs are actually mini computers. It's a Turing complete computer, which means you can program them and put in whatever business logic that you want. At this minute, we have so much more signal to noise in terms of what NFTs are really being used for, and it's an exceptional basis for us to build on. What we're looking at right now is a lot of people who, the average price of an NFT right now is $115. And what are they spending for? So there is the art. There are people who are working on the Mona Lisa in the digital art world. There's a whole market model and economics around that. We have a number of companies, and I just gave you 2 examples of a number of companies in the space trying to help that art piece of the NFT revolution. The second stream that there's a lot of work and a lot of money going into is gaming. So for all of you, again, who started with saying, why are people spending on these digital assets? Is anyone even going to buy this? Today's digital goods economy in the video game space is 200 billion, and these are primary sales. There's also a whole resale aspect to it, which is 50 billion. So it's overall 250 billion. And when you take that into the world now of then having authenticated digital assets, it takes that and brings very, very different dynamics. And if you boil that down, all of this stems from consumer behavior. And a consumer in their physical world is very conscious of how they look, how they feel, expressing themselves in terms of the creators and the brands that they like. And so as more and more people spend time in the digital world, it is only natural that they want to represent themselves in different ways based on who they like, what they resonate with, and they will pay for that in the digital world, just like they do in the physical world. The last one that I'll touch upon now is the creator world. They used to go by influencers before. The right term is creators. But think about influencers, creators, and brand more broadly. So what happens when you have this whole creator phenomena, and now we have this new world where they can have authenticated digital assets that also are programmable and you can build business logic into it. When I started at Facebook in India, we had 2G networks, we had feature phones, we did not have smartphones. There was a whole ecosystem that needed to be built, but through it all, I saw that transformation and I saw that impact on businesses, economies, and society. So I'm excited for this revolution, and I'm so excited for all of those who are going to build for this and all of those who are going to use this technology. Thank you.
If you're building businesses, I would recommend thinking about customer experience starting day one, because it's the foundation of your unit economics. And by doing so, what you're doing is you're really thinking about what is your investment level. So once you've acquired the customer, not just thinking about the product experience so that they can get a great day one experience, but the holistic experience that you're going to invest in through both technology and people, and at what cost, and how that's going to erode your cost of retention and total retention rate. At the end of the day, it's a business problem. You would do that, and it's much easier all of a sudden for you to think of it. It's pretty basic unit economics.
Yeah.
So that's sort of my experience with it, and that's a fundamental change that many of the companies that are used to shipping widgets or software as a widget that have to go through.
Yeah, and then I think I'm seeing the same in hardware as well, where it used to be exactly like you said, you make the sale and you've shipped the device until the customer calls you for support. There is no hand-holding going on.
I think getting the narrative right is extremely important, and then we were discussing just repeating it over and over again. It takes a lot more in the larger company to get that settled into the organization. We spent a fair bit of time doing so. It just is a big chore. It seems like a big chore when you're spending all this time writing up a document and then having the next layer in the organization write up their strategy that connects to yours and how you're going to transform the company. It certainly helped us a great deal. It got the leadership team aligned, and then gradually sort of percolated through into the company. I've seen with transformation, there are two issues that end up becoming pretty difficult. First is what I would call decision-making, structure, and rights. I think the fundamental issue that I see is the leadership not being clear what decisions they are going to be involved with, and they're not letting go. Because it's harder during change to just get all the decisions let go and delegated. It's nearly impossible. It's ineffective in my opinion, because the whole narrative and the decision-making abilities have not percolated through the organization. So you have to hold certain decisions, but you have to be clear which ones you're going to hold and which ones you're authorizing the work streams and the teams that are assigned for different aspects of transformation to go do. It helps you as a leader, and it helps the organization to just move fast. Otherwise, you're stuck.
I'm going to put my learnings into three buckets that I'll talk about. First of all, when you make the transition, the first thing is just starting the company itself. Right? And a lot of times, the number one question I get asked by a lot of engineers are, I have this idea, should I quit my job and start a company? How do I know, that I want to, that this is a company I should do? Or people ask me, I want to be a founder, but I don't have an idea. How do I find an idea to start a company? Right? So that to me is the number one thing. How do you know that you have something? You have something that you should do a company, and there's a likelihood of it getting successful. The second thing I'm going to talk about is how do you become from that engineer, individual contributor, to a successful leader. What things are needed, and a lot of things you talked about. I'm going to talk about the mental framework that I've used to get there. And third is the mindset. The mindset to me is probably the hardest thing and the most important thing that you need to do as you make the transition. I had a lot of ideas when I was starting my first company. And eventually I learned that it really comes down to three things. One is that you have to be really passionate about the problem you want to solve. And we run into problems in our lives, in our careers, our jobs, or all sort of things where it's someone has to solve this problem better. This problem is all the solutions suck. No one is doing a good job at solving this. And then you start feeling this itch inside you that someone has to solve it. Why shouldn't I solve it? If I don't solve it, someone else will solve it anyways. Right? So that passion about solving a problem is the single most important thing. You might be passionate about some problem, but maybe the world doesn't care about it. Maybe you want to build a device that your dog can jump 50 feet. How many people in the world care about it? Probably not too many. So you also have to find the problem that other people in the world care about, that people want to solve the problem. That's the number one reason startups fail, that you're building something that people in the world doesn't care about. You don't get the product market fit there. Let's say you are passionate about, let's cure cancer. Good problem to be passionate about. Half of the world cares about it. Probably the whole world cares about solving the problem.
but you have no expertise around it, and you can't solve it better than anyone else in the world, or most people in the world, you are going to fail. We are all engineers, right? Here, everyone raised their hand. It's a simple Venn diagram. Like the Venn diagram is of three things. Are you passionate about the problem that you're willing to spend next 5 to 10 years of your life in doing it? Does the world care about the problem to be solved? Or many people in the world care about the problem to be solved? And third is, do you have a unique insight, expertise, advantage, experience of some kind that you can solve the problem better than most other people in the world? If those three meet and you have the Venn diagram, you should not waste a day. Because any day wasted after that is a day wasted in getting to the right outcome. The second thing to do is to create the learning mindset of developing your skills, doing those mini MBAs and ability to do those fast, right? Where you have to learn new skills. You would have skills, and people ask me sometimes, hey, should I wait when I can learn all of this and I can have experience in my job to learn these business skills before I can start a company? And I tell people, like, if you have the Venn diagram of the right idea that meets all the three requirements, don't wait. You can start the company and learn everything as you go. But if you don't have that, wait. Don't jump into something where you're not passionate about, or the world doesn't care about, etc. But there is no point in waiting in learning the skills. You can learn them on the fly as long as you have the right learning mind around it. Right? And the third thing is that mindset. That we gotta have that mindset of can we overcome the fear of unknowns through courage? Can we have do we have the perseverance to go through hard, challenging times, which will happen in any startup all the time? And third is, do we have the growth mindset that we are not obsessing with outcome, but that we also going to learn through that. Doesn't matter what the outcome is.